If you didn't know, since there was damn near like no promotion for it, Season 2 of Gen V has finally ended. And it kinda sucked. The ending really wasn't that good, the build up to it didn't lead to any real payoff, and it just seemed disjointed. I rewatched Season 1 and figured I'd give a quick little summary so that we're all caught up and on the same page. But then we gotta talk about what made certain parts of Season 2 good and what made it outright terrible. Oh, and before we start, do it. Press the like button. And subscribe. Thank you. I'm going to assume that you watched Season 1 before, but if you didn't, why are you watching a video about Season 2? It doesn't matter. Marie is the main character of Gen V. She killed her parents by accident and her sister witnessed the aftermath. Marie had to grow up in Red River while her sister was put into normal foster care, pretty much never to be seen again. Eventually, Marie was accepted into God U, or Goldokin University. Come to find out, the main reason she did get into the school was because of Victoria Newman. Newman was aware of Marie's powers because they're very similar to one another. Newman ended up passing that info down to Stan Edgar and her daughter, keep that in mind for later. And once at God U, a lot of events take place. We meet Emma, who goes through an entire subplot that's honestly really well acted and taken very seriously. It has to do with, body positivity and women feeling used for just their bodies. It tackles a lot of harsh subjects and deals with them one by one. Emma needs to throw up or eat excessively in order to get small or big. She talks about this with someone that she's doing a project with, and then they go on to tell the entire school, thinking that it was just common knowledge. And another thing, windows do not open. Emma confirms this. This is another tool we will... Fuck it, it's a recap. You understand why I'm saying this.
How do you open this? Oh, they don't open or break. I guess kids were jumping out and flying off.
And by the way, I'm skipping past a lot of stuff. I'm not going to talk very in-depth about every single thing because then I'd be here for 5 hours. After stopping Sam from escaping the woods, a place that's used to test students from the university against their will, Andre invited Marie to hang out with his friends, Kate, Luke, and Jordan. They end up taking drugs before going to a club, and Kate pressures Marie into taking it as well. But she's all about consent, yet she still threatens it. Because of the drugs and the fact that Kate's powers are only temporary, Luke starts to wake up from the effect and remembers his brother Sam. Sam got captured with the help of Andre and Marie, but they didn't know that that was his brother. And before I forget, Marie was expelled from the school as a cover-up after the club incident with Andre and co. She then later comes back to give Brink a piece of her mind to then witness Luke burn him to death. Kate, for about 3 years at this point, has been pushing Luke to think his brother is dead and forget about every terrible thing that's happening in his life. Pushing is when Kate gets people to do things against their will with physical touch. This then leads into Luke just mentally breaking down. He's in fight or flight mode, he fights Jordan, tries to kill Marie, then he talks to Andre one last time, and then ends up flying into the air and blowing himself up. Also, this scene is just not really done that well. Marie is running down an open, empty hallway. She screams out loud, Jordan doesn't turn around and manages to bump into them. How is this possible? There's only you two in the hallway. Before Luke had died, he whispered in Andre's ear, which led Andre on the path of trying to redeem himself and do something in the name of Luke. Andre broke into Brink's office and was able to discover that he was behind the woods. Andre convinced Emma to help him with breaking Sam out of prison, in which then we see that Sam is schizophrenic. After breaking out and Sam learns that his brother is dead, he goes on a rampage and he goes to try and kill the doctor that was experimenting on him, leaving Emma behind. Jordan knew where the doctor lived because he was friends with Brink, and everyone showed up to help Sam. Then suddenly, in a blink or you'll miss it sort of moment, Marie and Jordan are in bed. Come to find out that Kate used her powers on everyone and made them forget Sam and everything that had happened recently. Kate makes it clear that she hates having to push her friends, and especially Luke. She was aware that every time Luke snapped out of the trance, he would basically go crazy. She didn't want to push anyone against their will, but Shetty kind of manipulated her into doing it. Kate gives everyone back their memories, Emma goes out to find Sam, then Kate puts everyone into a mental hellscape by accident. We dive more into the past of each character and witness their trauma while also discovering more about Kate. Emma and Sam share a very deep connection together while this is going on, and everyone is able to work through whatever the hell that was. Apparently, Jordan knew the whole time that something was wrong with Luke and kept it covered up. Andre was sleeping with Kate willingly behind Luke's back and then got in bed with her after he had died. And then Marie had to relive what happened to her parents. During all of this, Dean Shetty has been working on a virus for Vought, but goes against the rules and develops a highly contagious virus that can kill only Supes. Her motives are pretty unimportant for the story, but it's because Homelander Homelander killed her family. I think it's after he lasers this plane down, or it's when he leaves everyone to die in a plane crash. We get evidence that hints at the lasers, but I don't know. Sam experiences what it's like to be a normal college student for once, which is pretty nice. He seems happy. Polarity, Andre's dad, has a seizure due to overusing his powers. Andre learns about this from the doctors, and it's hinted at that he might have the same problem. Marie finally talks to Newman. Later, Newman goes on to get the virus for herself and kill the doctor that created it, and Kate gets Shetty to end her life. A lot of this stuff ends up getting covered up later. In a crazy way of thinking, Kate is tired of being used by people, and the same goes for Sam. They both set out to punish every and all humans by releasing the people that were in the woods. This leads into a few scenes that I really enjoyed seeing. Sam talks to his brother due to his schizophrenia, and in a way is almost like the angel on his shoulder. Kate is the devil in this case and pressures Sam into pushing him so that he just feels nothing. I think this gets rid of his schizophrenia, at least temporarily, since he just seems kind of normal or whatever. And that seems more to be the case because Luke walks off screen, never to be seen again. Marie gets invited to the Seven only if she kills Kate and all the people that escaped the woods, but instead of killing them, she tries to convince Kate that she needs to stop. This eventually leads to Kate not listening, followed up with getting her arm blown up since she tried to push Jordan against their will. Then Homelander shows up to put the group into Elmira. We see Kate and Sam a little bit in The Boys season 4, not really anything too important, but Sam seems to be very strong here. And that's as fast as I can go for a recap. Everyone hates Kate. Marie learned a little bit more about her powers. Andre has the same issues as his dad. Jordan still struggles between switching from guy to girl. Emma realizes that she can shrink without needing to throw up. And Sam is just mogging everyone. He's really good at that. Now, I want to start this by saying this is in full and complete respect for Chance Perdomo. His death was not a problem for the show. Chance sadly passed away right before shooting for season 2, and there are a lot of ways that this can be handled by a studio. They could either recast the character, pretend that the character never existed, or write it into the show that they had passed away off screen. I think they made the right decision by writing it into the show because it pays respect to the actor. And if the jump between season 1 to 2 was like 4 years or something, maybe you could recast him, but it's kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't type of situation. Some people can understand recasting if it had been a really long time, but people will still be upset that they recasted the character because the actor had died. There isn't really a correct answer in this situation. I think it's pretty obvious that Polarity, Andre's dad, was given a lot of the screen time that Chance would have received, and in that way, I enjoy watching his scenes more. Since they were just about to begin filming, they needed to completely rewrite certain parts of the show, and I think in general, that is what hurt season 2. Yes, they were able to substitute Andre for Polarity, but it definitely felt like going from the buildup of episodes 1 to 5 was all just kind of scrubbed away as soon as it was very clear that Cypher was Goldokin. Another problem, especially, was scheduling conflicts. A lot of characters and people couldn't come back towards the later half because of the schedule. But the way that they handled Andre as a character by bringing him up at least what felt like once per episode didn't really seem forced. As someone that learned about Chance's passing very early on, I wondered what would happen on the show. I wasn't like some straight up dumbasses that I've heard talk about season 2 where, mind you, this is kind of a trigger warning, I guess, I don't know. Some people didn't care for the actor's death and thought that it was stupid to not recast him by saying he wasn't that important. There was a creator on here that I saw talk about season 2 and said, quite literally, they got rid of the black one. And I immediately knew, okay, if you're a creator that does reviews, that doesn't make you good at reviewing at all. That same creator said most of the cast was talentless, talked a lot about DEI, woke agendas, all that stuff that you kind of just tune out after a while because it's nonsense after a bit. And I'll preface this by saying I don't like Marie's character, not due to any racial reasons or something stupid, but in season 2, they just randomly created the plot of Odessa. Odessa did not exist until season 4, episode 4 of The Boys, where it's barely on a piece of paper when Homelander visits a Vought laboratory. Originally, if all things went to plan and Luke didn't break as soon as he did, Marie would have been expelled and framed for what happened at the club with Andre and co. Dean, Shetty, and Brink had access to the woods, which was funded by Vought. They knew of the actual reasons why Marie was even at Red River to begin with. If Odessa was always a thing, Marie would have been instantly taken from Red River since she survived the process of getting Compound V at an even younger age. And I know they try and make a point to say that it was hidden documents, is, but it doesn't make sense. It's not the entire season, but eventually they compare Marie to Homelander a large handful of times, and every time you hear it, it just doesn't sound right, honestly. If you're someone that has watched all of The Boys, then you're more than aware of Homelander and how he's depicted. He can be incredibly fast, and it only happened on 2 occasions. Once in a canon episode of The Boys Diabolical, and again when Homelander pulls Butcher out of a building right before it explodes. You contrast this with him being overpowered by Huey, Butcher, and Soldier Boy, and the fact that Queen Maeve was able to make him bleed by simply just stabbing him in the ear with a metal pipe, and I think we're all realizing Homelander's only as strong as the writers need him to be, but by in-universe logic, Homelander is not actually that strong. But okay, enough talking about specific points, I guess. Let's get into season 2. The very first scene is a flashback to Thomas Goldokin. He breaks into a lab where other doctors are testing Compound V. I can't show it because it's insanely graphic, but this leads into a fire starting and Goldokin failing to pull the fire alarm. There's a new dean at God U called Cypher, and then we have a small jump cut to Elmira. This is where they imprison adult Supes. One issue I immediately have as soon as we see Jordan being taken by 3 guards is that goddamn haircut. You would think that it's because they've been in prison, but nope. They keep that the whole season. And another thing, Jordan is failing to fight off 3 guards, and to what we know, they do not have powers. There's no shock collar on Jordan's neck, and there's nothing to give us a clue as to if Jordan is weak or not, or being able to go from fighting Golden Boy to now getting put down by 3 normal guys. Could this be handled better? Yes, the Woods actually was better at dealing with people they captured. They electrocuted the floor before going into their cell. And yes, Jordan does get shocked after hitting 2 guards, but this guy's face is broken and this guy's rib cage is shattered. I know it's a bit of nitpicking, but come on, okay? There's far more interesting ways to contain a soup. Jordan gets put into the back of a truck and Emma is also in it. Come to find out, Kate did a lot of behind the scenes work to get Jordan, Emma, and Andre out of Elmira, only to find out that Andre isn't here. Kate reads Jordan's mind and learns that Andre died trying to escape from there. Then we get introduced to Stacy. Stacy appears only a few times in the first few episodes, and I believe due to scheduling conflicts, her character just doesn't appear again. They make a very clear point to tell us that her stinger will kill her and anyone else that is stung by it, and it makes me wonder, why even include these scenes? Why not just redo them? I think anyone else could fill this role. I like that Vought always has a way to cover something up, and it just ends up being one big manipulation tactic. However, isn't there actual footage of what happened with Marie and everyone else? Rufus recorded some of it. Other people would have taken their phones out as they usually do in the show. So was it framed as a deep fake or something? Probably. I guess it doesn't really matter. Kate feels really bad for what she did to everyone and is kind of seeking redemption by helping free Jordan and Emma, but they react accordingly. Everyone hates Kate. And you know, honestly, Kate has willingly manipulated people for even smaller things and pressured people into doing some things with the threat that she'll do it anyways. Kate is not someone to like or trust, at least not to me. I don't like her. Dean Cypher appears. Jordan and Emma remember him from when they were in Elmira. Nobody knows what his powers are, but under the new administration, God U is now an all-soup school. Not a single human in sight. Kate gets mad at Cypher because she wasn't told about Andre dying and was going to try and push him. Cypher immediately knew and threatened her with losing her other hand. It's also made very clear that Kate can't read Cypher's mind when he turns a blender on as soon as he addresses it.
Could always peer into my noggin and find out. Though, fair warning, you might not like what happens when you do.
Then we cut to Marie. This entire segment, or whatever you would call it, like piece of the episode or show, it's not handled well at all. Even on my first time watching it, I was immediately asking questions and was just completely taken out of it. Marie is still looking for her sister. That's awesome. Great. She's led to believe from the news that her friends have been Vought pilled or put into the Vought machine, you know, something like that. Then the next day, Marie comes across 2 different groups fighting. This is going to be hard to explain, but Marie, walking out in broad daylight without even putting a hoodie on, goes to intervene in something that doesn't concern her. These are all adults so far that are just whining and complaining. They don't have powers, we're led to believe, and Marie gets herself involved for no reason. She exposes where she is, not just putting them in their place. She doesn't kill them, she just injures them, but using her fucking blood powers. Marie is the only person now with that ability since Newman is dead. Why are you using the one thing that Vought would need to perfectly identify you? And because of this, it causes a soup named Dognot to find and track her down, which He does it quite easily, eventually leading to Starlight showing up and helping her. Even my dad asked this question when we were watching the show. Why aren't you killing Dognut right here? Why aren't you doing it? Oh, you're just gonna leave him? Oh, we're gonna leave him alive. Okay. Oh, it's so that they can frame the Starlighters and make them look even worse. Awesome. And another thing to add, pretty much everyone was able to find Marie because of her one public appearance. Starlight, Emma and Jordan, even Kate. Why did we make Marie seem stupid so that she would be found? Starlight tells Marie to go back to the school, says it's the safest option, and that there's a project that started back up again called Odessa. Apparently it's a weapon, and Marie needs to find out what it is so that she can stop it. Does Starlight ever come back to help with anything besides just giving the plot? Nope. She shows up at the end of the season, but not really for anything necessarily useful for the season itself. And you might be wondering, do any other characters from The Boys appear? It's a good question. They do, actually. Sister Sage, Noir, and even the Deep. Do they offer much? Well, Sage kind of does, I'll say. Noir could be replaced with literally anyone else, and Deep is just here for a quick laugh. He literally is just a joke. I don't understand why he's still here. Marie getting exposed, Starlight finding her to give her the plot is apparently all behind the likes of Sage. Obviously, we find this out way later, but it doesn't make sense. Sage had the same issue in The Boys where everyone else becomes really stupid, and the whole time Sage will say, that was actually my plan all along. When it fully depends on someone else doing something without her guidance and just losing brain cells. I can totally understand a fake leak or source feeding bad information to Starlight, but you're telling me she fully depended on Marie screwing up so that she would come back to the school? This is like The Thinker in terms of bad writing. I didn't know this show could compare to the CW, but they managed it. Once Kate arrives and freaks out about how Marie talked to Starlight, she tries to touch Marie and push her. Jordan, in self-defense, blasts Kate back and causes her to shatter her skull. Jordan says that they didn't mean to.
I didn't mean to.
What do you mean you didn't mean to? You protected someone and had a gut reaction. Are we trying to say that Jordan accidentally did this or didn't mean to do it as hard? Whatever the writers are on, I need to smoke some. And now, Marie can't help Kate because if she touches her, Kate will try to push her. Don't understand why she can't do the whole put blood back into someone as it's coming out sort of thing, but you know, she did that with pure emotion in season 1. I guess, you know, she could just do that again. No? Oh, we're just gonna leave her here. Okay, I can get behind that, I guess. You know, everyone hates Kate, let her die. Come to find out, Kate was able to survive that head bashing. How did she live? She might be a soup, but she's not a god. By the time anyone could have gotten to her, she is at best brain dead for life. Marie makes it very clear that she's losing a lot of blood. Did the Grim Reaper give her another chance or something? Funnily enough, the man who exposes the info that Kate is still alive is Cypher. He told Marie after she basically shoehorned herself into God U. Cypher sets out to train Marie and get her to upgrade her powers. I think this might be the only class that Marie actually takes, honestly. I don't see her in anything else, and a lot of the time I forget they're even at college. Polarity decides to not bed rot for the rest of his life since Emma reminded him that Andre wouldn't have given up. And Polarity shouldn't give up when it comes to Cypher, because Cypher was out Elmira. They go out to find more about Goldokin. They learn that he was a Nazi, I think. I don't really know. There's just a ton of it around. And that the Odessa project, it was just in some files, just sitting right here the whole time. No one knew. Emma tells Marie that she is Project Odessa, and before that, Jordan and Marie have some relationship issues. This goes away eventually. Marie kind of ruins it, I'll be honest. Since Kate's powers are gone for now, Sam has to deal with his schizophrenia and any sort of mental issues. He kind of goes a little batshit crazy, and Jordan helps him go through that process of just sort of dealing with it and coping. Kate does end up coming back to school and is extremely pissed with Marie and everyone. Then we step into another pile of shit. Sorry to burst your bubble. We were on such a roll, honestly. You know, I was quite proud for a little bit. Emma helps comfort Tess the barista after she has been harassed on countless occasions due to someone putting signs up on her stand. Tess is human and has to identify this way with a badge. She gets berated by students because the signs are to show support for Starlight, and Emma finds the person that has been putting the signs up. At first, she failed to catch them because she found out that they can copy other people's powers. Later on, Emma is able to find who is actually behind it, and it's Harper. Yay. She was in season 1. She had her weird tail still, but I think it was supposed to be just a weird tail. But now she's a chameleon? I can't really get excited about this. She can copy anyone's powers for about 60 seconds, only if she touches them. So, since Tess was dealing with this problem quite a few times to the point that she felt like she was going crazy, Harper has pretty frequent access to someone that is a speedster. Is this brought up ever. No! Yeah, that's kind of dumb. After Emma straight up makes fun of Harper and Allie for how they show their support for the cause, I'd say this is all really dumb. And before I forget, Allie can control her nether region's hair, and only that hair. Is this just for jokes? Pretty much. Just for the sake of being weird. Could they have chosen all body hair and make it be weird but also kind of practical? Yeah. You want to know something else that is pretty dumb and never brought up again? Marie goes to her aunt's house trying to look for her sister. She goes through a bunch of family photos and finds out that Cypher was there when Marie was born. Okay, and I guess to try and prove a point or get Vought to work with what Jordan claims, they say that the Starlighters didn't actually hurt Kate. You know, those same Starlighters that were framed for hurting Homelander people? Yeah, Jordan says that they actually hurt Kate, which now makes Jordan enemy number 1 since they're also number 1 in the rankings for the school. Remember the top 10? I do. Yeah, it's really not that important at all and kind of stopped being after season 1. Now Jordan and Marie have to fight to the death inside a fighting arena. For some reason, I think it's so that they can see Jordan lose and everyone can kind of be happy with that. And then we get the infamous scene. This is what I've been building up to this whole time. You might have forgotten because I said it once and I never brought it up again. But now, Greg, Allie's brother, flies up and they open the window. You motherfucker said you couldn't do that before. If you couldn't tell, this is satire. I don't actually care. The group convinces Kate to work with them, believing that she also hates Cypher just as much as they do, and this leads to 2 things. Marie trains one-on-one with Cypher and learns that he has no compound V in his blood. Then Jordan and Kate find out that Cypher is keeping a burnt and decrepit old man in his vault. By this point in the show, like most people with thick skulls and brains that have many wrinkles, it's very clear that Cypher is actually Goldokin. Our first introduction to the character is him being burned alive. Everyone says they don't know what Cypher's powers are or who he even is. We know that Goldokin was behind the Odessa project since episode 1, and Cypher was there when Marie was born under the name Dr. Gold. The writer and showrunner, Aaron Kripke, expressed online how he was upset, a little bit annoyed, that people figured it out so soon. You dumbass. You gave us all the info that we could ever need in the first 4 episodes. This is made even clearer when Cypher does the deed with Sage right in front of the dumpster baby that is Goldokin. And it's supposed to be some insane reveal when Marie heals that dirty nutsack in episode 7. Oh, and a few other things for just episode 4 alone. They try to blackmail Cypher and record him admitting he has no powers. Kate tries to bluff that she has her powers now and can read his mind in order to convince him to do that. So Cypher just reads her mind, grabs the camera, then he puppets Jordan and gets them to fight Marie. At this point, yes, Cypher is Goldokin. Anyone that assumed he was technology-based or anything else, maybe some great ideas, but that's not going to happen. And now, Kate is arrested and put into Elmira. Sam goes out to see his parents and learn more about himself, so he's kind of off-screen a little bit. Polarity talks with Cypher. Cypher stabs himself in the hand, basically exposing he feels nothing. And at this point, Cypher has made it very clear to Polarity that he knows exactly what he is doing at the school. Instead of listening to Sam after he says, do not go to Elmira, and also says he does not want to rescue Kate, the group goes and breaks Kate out anyways. Since they couldn't use the same air vent that Marie used before, I believe, they get captured. Before and during this, Emma admits that this was a trap, yet they still fucking go to Elmira. Sage manages to find Marie's sister and get her to the same prison. Knowing that Marie and co are gonna break out, they go to rescue Annabeth, only for them to discover that Cypher killed her. From the point that we see Annabeth alive and in the prison for just a little bit, to when they actually go through with breaking out, just by the runtime alone of the episode, not even in-universe time, Annabeth is dead. Like, fully dead. But now since Marie put the pedal to the metal, she's able to just revive her. How the hell is Annabeth even able to function as a person right now? She has been dead for at least 5 minutes. Once again, most likely brain dead, probably going to suffer from a stroke or something. I don't know. This makes no sense. At this point in the show, I was completely taken out. I think this is complete and utter horseshit. I can understand Marie saving someone from fully bleeding out after their neck was just cut, and even being able to explode parts of people's bodies. Okay, I can get behind that. But resurrection? This is purely done to make it clear that she is the most powerful soup. And then past this point, she gets compared to Homelander like at least 5 times an episode. Why? Why do this? It seems like this goes outside the laws of the universe. Like, it's even a bit crazy for someone to have a black hole inside their ass, but come on. I know superpowers by itself are unrealistic, but you can still have realistic superpowers. That was the one thing I liked about A-Train before he got his new heart. He wasn't able to run forever because his heart was acting up and it caused him to have a heart attack. Regardless, we need to end this, so I'll make it quick. Annabeth actually has powers and is able to predict the future. Another superpower that makes no sense in this universe. Sam magically decides to go and help the group out of Elmira. Annabeth then explains that she has no idea how she got her powers because her parents were dead, and so she couldn't ask that question. And for some reason, Annabeth, after having her powers since when she was young, can't fully control her powers, and it just happens randomly. And apparently, she had a nightmare before Marie killed both their parents. She just, lived with that guilt, I guess. I don't really know why this is something that's added. Makes it seem like a set destiny type of thing, and I don't really like that. The group tries to get in contact with Polarity, but the night before, Polarity had a seizure, which caused Cypher to come over and puppet him to get the location of Marie. Another thing I'll add is for some reason Cypher is upset that she broke out of the prison, but he's working with Sage, who can predict the future. Yeah, that doesn't make sense. Cypher sends Vicor the Viking after them. He was in the show before. And surprisingly, we see that Jordan and Sam are weak as shit. Both of them cannot fight. Both of them are just durable. They don't bleed. They just get thrown around. And what ends up killing Vicor is Zoe, Newman's daughter. She has a bunch of snakes or something for her mouth. She decapitates Vicor, and this is done purely for shock value. Gets rid of the actual issue with something funny and shocking. Stan Edgar was able to track Vicor. He shows up, says some stuff, spills some whatever. They go to a bunker that Homelander can't get into. There's a point that's made that everyone as a group will work together to figure out what to do, and then Marie just leaves to deal with the problem herself. Stan Edgar did make a few points that Marie is just way stronger than her friends, but why did she do this? It's random, and it's a dumb decision that leads her right back to the problem. Kate follows after her, and from this point, there's at least 3 different times where it's said that Kate should get her powers back. This gets amplified by the fact that Marie is able to fully heal Polarity and his issues. The group worked their way back to the school, and then something that took me way off guard was Greg. Purely just a love interest to cause unneeded tension between her and Sam, is able to fly at Mach 3. Watch this. Why the hell are we worried about Cypher when you could just speed blitz him? Oh, that would be too obvious? That would ruin the show? I actually think it would make it better. Annabeth starts getting visions of something horrible happening to Marie. Everyone comes to convince Marie to stop what she's doing. Mind you, Marie, Kate, and Polarity's plan is to distract Cypher while Marie heals Goldokin so he can stop Cypher. I mean, that's a very dumbed down version of it, but why the fuck are we trying to heal Goldokin when he has countless pieces of work that are on the topic of controlling soups? Why are we trying to distract Cypher when you could just all fight Cypher yourself? A pretty amusing yet stupid fight happens between the guys and Cypher, eventually leading to Goldokin being healed. We learn that Doug is who Cypher really was, and I'll be honest, out of the entirety of this season, Doug and Polarity are my favorite characters by far. I explained why for Polarity, but for Doug/Cypher, this man truly knows how to act. It felt believable when it's 2 separate people. The body movement, how they talked, it just worked incredibly well. I'll get back to that in a minute. Goldokin and Sage are a thing, and they have been for a while, clearly. Sage expresses that she wants to find a way to not surprise Homelander so he doesn't get upset, and I'm guessing due to ego, Goldokin starts a seminar, posts a video online exposing that he's alive, and reasonably so. This took Sage off guard. But wait, how could she be taken off guard? I thought she could practically predict the future. Oh, this is like the Thinker from The Flash again. Okay. For some reason, she just can't magically predict people's emotions. Awesome. Back to Doug and co. He's dying. Polarity threw a ton of weights at him and did a lot of damage to Cypher, so he's internally bleeding. Why couldn't Marie just help him then and there? It's because she's tired now after helping Goldokin. Okay, I can get behind that. So now Doug and Polarity are gonna go to a hospital, right? No, they're gonna go somewhere specific, because for some reason it's too risky to call an ambulance. I don't know why. Polarity just says that and doesn't give any sort of reasoning.
He needs a doctor.
Should we call an ambulance?
No, that's too risky. I have a friend who's an attending at White Plains. I trust him. I'll take you.
This then leads into probably one of my favorite scenes from the show. Polarity, Andre's dad, and Doug, the man who was tortured, tormented, forced to watch, feel, and grieve throughout the entire 20 years or so that Goldokin had control of him. They both talked about Andre one last time. Doug speaks about how Andre was a thorn in Cypher's side while at Elmira, speaks very highly of him, and even says that he was fearless and was the greatest hero that Doug has ever seen. I love this a lot. I think it works well in so many ways, and it doesn't really feel like it's just about the character. But then Doug dies. Noir shows up and kills him. Do they ever speak about Doug again? Nope. Polarity happily talks with Noir for what seems like 30 minutes about a TV show, and the only thing he has to say is,
So, you can talk now?
After talking with him, Sage lets Polarity go, making it look like kind of an accident, which inevitably leads to Goldokin's death. But before that, the plan to stop Goldokin, it's terrible. The idea is to get the guy with the black hole into the seminar, essentially being like a Trojan horse. Cool. Jordan, Sam, Greg, they're in there, and some other people. All right. But Marie fixes Kate and has her push a guard to let Marie into the front door. That was the buildup, by the way. That was the only time that we see Kate use her powers after getting them back. She pushed a random guard, and that is it. Why sneak everyone in when you could just bring them all in through the front door? This doesn't make sense. Then instead of Goldokin controlling anyone from the group, he doesn't kill any or injure them. I think more of the random students died than anything. Harper and Allie are also here. They do some of the weirdest tag teaming I've ever seen. After this weird little CGI moment of Emma being able to grow large at will, they hold little Thomas down with the hair, and Harper copies his powers. Pretty cool and gross. Then right before Marie is able to blow up Goldokin, he takes control of her. But then Polarity shows up and ruins the whole thing. Then boom, little Thomas exploded. This ending sucks so much balls. There's theories out there that Goldokin planted his mind inside Marie, or just someone else at least, and only time will tell with that, but this entire season was a nothing burger. We did not need a whole second season of building up a character just to kill them off. They could have discovered the Odessa stuff in season 5 of The Boys, and I would have been happier with that, but even then, you already have a shit ton of cool soups, and the whole buildup is for Butcher and Homelander to finally fight and see who wins. Is the idea to make Marie a problem, or maybe even a solution? Kind of like she has to kill Butcher in the end and be the savior? Don't get me started with the cringe ending to this season. I'm not addressing that. That was stupid. I could be entirely wrong, and actually Marie is the most well-written character ever in the show, and Odessa has always been a thing. You just didn't know it yet. But as a show, as a season 2 or season by itself, the start does not really lead to a nice ending. Honestly, I think the Boys universe should have come to an end in season 4 and have Gen V be its own standalone series that doesn't really rely on what's going on in The Boys. Maybe make it take place somewhere else in the world if possible. Obviously, we can't change that now, so we just have to deal with the parody of superheroes turning into the thing it's trying to parody. Thank you to the homies that sponsored this video, and thank you to everyone that has been showing support to the channel. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you want to help boost it in the algorithm, watching till the end is a great way to do that, but you can leave a like, check to see if you're subbed, and leave a comment letting me know what you thought of Gen V. It was nice to not talk about a video game for once. Maybe I'll do that more often. But alright, eat water, drink food, stay safe. See ya. Seriously, what kind of ending was that?